And they're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. It's all the buttons that get me, man. They're so far apart. What are the humans doing?
Do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah. Signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. So if you think you're ready, you don't need more proof. Conspiracy deniers are denying the truth. They fabricate our problems and pretend to provide the best solution, but we all know they lie. They lied about the weapons and they lied about health. They lied about the fact that they're transferring the wealth. You should really notice how they're pushing the fear. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. Yeah. Everybody's not thinking clear. Keep everybody terrified. Yeah, thinking and not thinking. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. When you do, you realize that this is a trick. It's getting really stupid now, they're taking the mick. Said, do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah, signaling their pick on their profile.
Make me suck the sushi off this stick.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sasquatch Shills for Sasquatch Shills, so you don't have to. And tonight, I have my second guest of the night. We're double dipping. That's right. A total double penetration of the YouTube space. Now, some of y'all may be offended by that. Personally, I couldn't care less. I don't think our guest cares much tonight either. So, without further ado, the Raging Tomato. This is going to be fun. Hi.
I'm all about double dipping.
All right. So, tell everybody who, what, when, where, how, and how to give you money.
How do I view money?
No, tell them how to give you money.
Oh, how to give me money? Well, if you're on my channel, there's a little button at the bottom. You can click that little button and it says Super Chat. You hit the Super Chat, you choose which one you want to give, and you go from there. Or you can hit Buy Me a Coffee. Nightbot is kind enough to drop that link in the chat probably every like 15 minutes or so. So you can go that way too. And I don't pay quite as much in YouTube tax as I, typically do. So either way is fine with me. I'm happy when you're generous, and life goes on. It's good.
You did good. I'm proud of you. So here we are. I've actually been plotting this for a little while, and Flow State kind of he what did he call me? The ninja simp. He's like, you're the only person I've seen not visually simp, but obviously simp without appearing to simp. He's like,
really?
How do you?
I don't think you're simping though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've ever simped?
I don't do that. That's not a. I'm personally offended by myself when I start
But
saying,
realistically speaking, like, would a man be a man if he didn't think a girl was pretty and didn't want to talk to her?
sure, he'd be homosexual. But moving
There you
on.
go. So if you ain't simping, then what are you?
uh, Autistic?
Fair enough.
Just because you're laughing don't mean I'm joking. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a YouTube channel. You do stuff, you say things, people like it, people don't. I've noticed you've got a lot of songs back there that you've been playing around with.
Uh-huh.
This is all very interesting. How long have you been on YouTube as the Raging Tomato?
Well, as far as actually like kicking off the channel, that was back in the end of January. Um, and then before that, I was doing like my presence was known more around different panels. So I started on Ashley's channel. Actually, we grew her channel. We did a lot of work. I kind of like co-hosted over there. And then Alex from Playing with Fire picked me up for the speed dates, and that became a thing. I made my way in the panel verse all over the place. I ended up on LFA's channel consistently. Kind of became a regular over there for a while, and then this past December, I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, man, I do all of this work for all of these other people and I provide all of this free content and I'm not really getting anything in return or not even developing my fan base necessarily. So why not, do it myself? So I
Do
said, I'm going
the
to
thing.
do it myself.
Do the thing. Yeah, that's what it takes. That's all it takes to make it on YouTube. You have to have the dedication to do the thing, and to do the
Hmm.
thing until Rule 34 kicks in,
Yeah.
uh, which is where anything you can think of not only has already been thought of, but is being sold on the internet sexually.
Hmm.
So, welcome to the internet.
It's been great. It's been
I love
swell.
it.
A lot
Uh,
of lessons learned, a lot of craziness along the way, but we're here. We've survived. We made it.
so I've got a philosophy about YouTube, and I try to impart this on each one of my guests. It if I can, and then after dark, I try to get the whole group together and like do this one, all at once, but it's not always possible. And YouTube, and you've heard the term lolcow.
Yeah.
Okay, in YouTube, you either make excellent content at an arm's reach. You have to keep it at length, at a little bit of a distance. You
Hmm.
can't completely live your content. You can't live YouTube, because
Hmm.
you either make content and become a hero, or make content long enough to become the lolcow.
Hmm.
And it's inevitable because we all have bad days. And the tendency with YouTube is to get more view time, more viewers, more subscribers, but not everyone else has your best interest at heart. They're not all simps.
That's true. Very true. There's some people that are out there that just want to hate you.
They just
Uh,
want to watch you burn.
yeah. There's quite a few of those out there. But at the same breath, I'll still say they are my most loyal, dedicated
Hey,
fans, not fans. You know what I
If
mean?
you hate me and you watch everything I do,
You
you are
love
still
me.
a fan, sir. Thank you. Also,
Mhm.
hate is not the opposite of love. That is indifference.
You have to have love in order to hate.
Well, hate involves the same amount of energy as love.
Hmm.
Indifference provides no energy. So
Hmm.
if you show up trying to troll and nobody ever says a word about it, you will eventually leave, because no one has fed you. No one fed the troll. So never feed a troll you don't intend to keep.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I do like to feed the trolls every once in a while with
Sure.
something really absurd because it gets them flapping their little gums about it.
Yeah.
Um, but outside of that, I like to own the trolls, meaning when somebody says something really jacked up about me, I like to own it. For instance, we have the Fame Horror membership. Light 'em up to all of the members. We have the Fame Horror meme. We have the "You fucking the moderator." We got that one going on. We got all sorts of fun little troll stuff that we like to own it.
Lean
We
into it. If
yeah.
troll manages to actually get your attention with something that's either humorous enough, funny enough, or on the nose. Sometimes things can be just a little too on the nose, and you choose not to be offended, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you come into this space, you cannot come into this space with a chip on your shoulder expecting that everyone's going to agree with you, because we're not. First of all, I don't give a shit what you think, how you vote, what kind of weapon you carry every day, or whether or not you like hot dogs over vinegar pickles. I don't care. None of that. I'm interested in YouTube, and I want to see as much of the mechanics of it as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and then tell other people.
Yeah. Well, I have this theory that I could show up on YouTube as Mother Teresa, or I could show up on YouTube as a total devil, right? Like a total, as the YouTube would like or prefer, if I showed up as a total skank whore. And it wouldn't matter which way I showed up, they're gonna hate me one way or the other.
Absolutely it would. No,
The people that are gonna love you are gonna hate you. The people that are gonna hate you are gonna love you. And so I'm
yeah,
like, you know what? I'm just here. You either like it or you don't. If you want to make fun of it, fine. I'll own it. I'll own
but
every single bit of it.
something to keep in mind: if you show up as a skank whore and you've got the two best assets on YouTube, you
Mhm.
will definitely make money and
Mhm.
haters. People will
Yep.
hate. I don't care what you do. It's very much like Rule 304, but
Mhm.
more along the lines of they will hate you anyway. They can
Mhm.
be your followers today and your haters tomorrow and a follower again later on. So
Mhm.
just take it all with a grain of salt. Don't let it get to your
Yep.
soul.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's why I learned a long, long time ago. And I'm actually kind of thankful I entered the panelverse as just a person entering the panelverse and not necessarily a channel owner, because I learned all of the rules then, like 2 years ago. I learned it the hard way. I had one hard cry. And after that, I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I can't let any of this get to me, no matter what.
You
And,
have to make the decision to not be offended
mhm,
before you open the door to
yeah. Well, and typically there's not much I haven't already heard, right? I bartended for a long time. I received all of the insults, like I've received all of the simping, like it just all goes in one ear and out the other. And it's like same shit, different day, whatever. But outside of that, it's like I just don't care. I don't give you that much credibility. Your opinion of me carries zero weight. The people that matter to me, like my parents, my children, my family, my friends, their opinion matters, and that's the ones where if they came to me and they said, like, you're a piece of crap, I'd be like, wow, that really actually hurts. Whereas some random dude on the internet, man, I just close that box and you disappear. You're
exactly.
gone. Hmm.
When you're talking about somebody who's doing these types of panels, even these types of interviews, most people are not nearly as straightforward and honest about things as I am. I am offensively honest. If I
Mhm,
think something's a bad idea, I'm going to tell you, and I don't care if you like it or not, because what's going to happen? You're going to hate me for the rest of your fucking life. I don't
mhm,
have that kind of time. I'm not interested in that type of thing. My purpose is to help creators make better content easier, right? I I I I want you to do you, but if possible, do it better with more lights, gizmos, and gimmicks. If you've never worked a carnival, it's something worthwhile.
yeah, no, absolutely, and I think again, I think having kind of a practice run, for what, like, maybe a year and a half prior to really kicking off my own channel, really set the pace, and I started in a really dark place. Like, Michelle and I like to joke because we started in, Playing with Fire's chat, and that chat gets mean. That chat, like, you just have to accept it, and they test you, and as long as you pass the cool kids test and you don't take offense to everything, you're in, right? And we started there. We were blessed there, baptized in the YouTube world of dealing with a crazy chat.
Yeah,
Um,
good.
yeah.
I have a bit of advice for anyone who is in that stage now. Uh, it would do you well if you can find one to go find a really nasty, dirty, filthy chat. Get in there, throw some bows and mosh out with them and see how you fare. Because if you don't
Mhm,
do well there, when you come to the panel verse, you're going to be dealing with these people thinking much faster than you can type. They're
mhm,
speaking, they're not just, you know. And so while you're there, try to find at least one of these evil bastards that you can bring back to your channel as a mod.
mhm.
Somebody that thinks you're funny, likes what you're doing, and you explain, look, I'm going to start a channel. And they're like,
Mhm.
okay, I'll mod for you. If you can find a hardcore troll to mod for you that sees
Oh,
it even
that's
before it's
easy.
a problem,
That's easy. Doug the Thug Fist, stand up, raise your hand because Doug the Thug Fist was one of the first ones that I encountered over in the Playing with Fire chat. And he is the troll among all trolls, but he keeps it fairly clean, right? He plays fair for the most part. And when as soon as I started going live, he or she could have been a she, started showing up in my chat, and I think after maybe the 10th show, I was like, I'm gonna mod you up because you know what trolling really is and what it's meant to be, and you can tell the difference. And
the
and so
sofa
yeah, the
sofa king
it might have
actually fall
been
for that.
no, I think.
I gotta ask, did you actually fall for the sofa king?
Well, as you're reading, right, you don't think about it until after you're reading it, and then I was
No,
like, "Oh, you got me."
no, ma'am. You have to think about it before you have to read it before you actually say it. You don't do
That's
it the other
okay. It was a
yeah,
quickie stream. It'll go behind the paywall. I got nothing to lose on that one.
right. As long as you're above board with most of your surface ideas, you won't really run into a whole lot of problems. It's when you get down in the dirty muck of like
Mhm,
politics or men
mhm.
on women or even going into like a recovery stream and being like, well, I'm drinking right now, but that's not my drug of choice. I'm actually here to recover from methamphetamines and or
Oh
whatever.
my god.
It's
Yeah, no, I mean, I typically stay out of the politics. Actually, Rachel's Ghost described my channel perfectly the other day. She said, "Oh yeah, Sarah, you want to go check her out? She does stuff like human relations and things like that." And I was like, "Did you just describe my channel as HR?"
pretty much. I mean, I can kind of see where she's coming from. That's actually not far off the mark.
It's not. After I thought about it for a minute, I was like, "But she's kind of right."
Human relations, not human resources.
Right, right, right.
Different. Where human resources involves somebody with purple hair. Human relations involves people.
And people, yes, but
Just
then that is kind of like the foundation of my channel. After I started doing the live streams, I realized really quickly that I'm really great at networking and connecting people to other channels. I know a lot of I would say a lot of big names in YouTube, and people I could call on the cell phone if I wanted to. Um, but one thing that started happening was people would reach out and say, "Hey, do you know such and such? Can you connect me with such and such? I really want such and such on my channel, XYZ, XYZ." And that started happening continuously. And I was like, if I'm really good at this, why am I not bringing all of these people together in one? And so that just kind of started happening, and then the moderator Monday started happening, and I noticed, especially after Mod Monday, that a lot of the people that would come and show up for my show would later, like, they'd meet each other on my channel, and they'd say, like, "Hey, I really like you. I would love to have you on my stream." And they started connecting, and people started linking up. And now I'm literally watching the fruits of my labor in action because everybody's connecting outside of my channel now, and it's great. I love it, and that's exactly what I want.
right. So rumor has it that you're Axl Rose's daughter.
I'll never tell.
Okay, just checking. Let's make stupid people famous. He's got better internet now, and I'm expecting more content out of him. Get to work, boy. So, all right. So what was your very first? And I'm speaking just of the Raging Tomato,
Mhm.
nothing previous to this channel, unless it's still around and making you money. You can shout it out if you want to. Likewise, you're modded in my chat if you want to go drop some links over there to anything useful. I haven't really had a chance to set that end up. This all kind of happened real quickly.
No, that's good.
So what was your very first upload? What you were standing around one day, right? And you decided you're going to upload a video to YouTube. Why the hell would you do that?
Actually, my very first upload for my channel was a teaser. It was a short little like 30-second video saying something along the lines of like news from the Manosphere coming soon, like kind of like mysterious, like what's going on with a big question mark. And then I started the following week, I uploaded my first, and it was the news from the Manosphere skit. And it was basically, yep, it's one of these.
Right.
But it's basically me making fun of it.
Button I got to push, and it's going to mute you when you push it, because
Okay.
One of the things that I try to do is go and dig up some, if possible, the earliest, not always the earliest, as early as possible.
You don't want cars? Yes, I'm a paleontologist.
Oh, it's okay. There's dynamite in this bag too. I am a paleontologist.
I'm a paleontologist.
Paleontologists study really old stuff.
Like crackers.
Because bad movies are funny.
Damn right, because bad movies are funny. There's a scene in that movie where a guy has a turtle allegedly has a turtle in a bucket, and he's slamming it back and forth going, they love it when you do that. There's a bowl of mud that has credit in the credits, like a bowl of mud in the film that is giving actual credits. Anyway, it's a lovely film. Go find it on Amazon. I'm not associated with it, except that I think it's hilarious. Anyway, so here we are on the Manosphere news. Women are the devil. News flash.
Yeah. And these are meant to be very
women are evil. So saith the Manosphere.
And these skits are meant to be very satire, very similar to Saturday Night Live. You're actually picking up season 2. Season 1's behind the membership tab now, which is okay. But this was like
the publicly available ones. That's why I presented a bit of an issue, because if it's not publicly available, nobody who just subscribed to you is going to be a member, and so I kind of don't go behind the paywall unless there's nothing else.
Fair enough.
This is beautiful. I love the whole layout. This entire thing is Post Wall Club Cup, the whole thing. This is the type of
the details.
More. Yes, the tiny little bits. That's what I tell everybody.
Everybody always looked forward to the mug and the coloring page, and that's what I did the very first episode, and I did it just out like on a whim, because the mug I had was it said "Best Dad Ever." And so that was kind of like a play on the whole Manosphere, because all the single moms are being dads too, and whatever. So I was just kind of poking fun at that.
Can I point out something? And I hope everyone on earth has noticed it. The E's backwards. So like the dude, it's classic. It is classic Saturday morning cartoon slapstick, verbal judo type. I mean, I kept expecting the whole time to have like, I don't know, Hong Kong Fooey to jump out and start dancing or something. I don't know. Or the whammy guy, no whammy, stop. Something, because all the gimmicks are here, all here. But at the same time, they're not overbearing. They're there. Right. I think you could have leaned into that a little bit more, although I'm not sure it would have done you any good. I mean, nobody likes clever on YouTube for some reason.
Right.
Funny's okay, but not clever. Clever offends people because they didn't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of play on words, and I specifically for these, I take context out of context on purpose. So how you would compare it would be like Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update, That was kind of a similar inspiration from that. But yeah, it's just making fun of whatever happened that week in the
I
Manosphere.
love it. I love it. Maybe a little bit too niche, but the mechanism, the layout, the mechanics of it, all of this is fantastic.
Yeah. Well,
This
the
is
fun thing
the
about
stuff
it
you need.
was trying to working on making it more familiar and relatable to people outside of the Manosphere.
Mhm.
So through this season, I worked really, like the second season, I worked really hard to bring out the relatability to it. And the only way I could test that was with my mom. So I would have her look at it. And I'm like, all right, like, do you understand it? And the more she started to understand, the better it got, to where anybody could laugh at it, no matter who you were, whether you understood it, the Manosphere, or just a normal person in the real world. So,
I do a show on Sundays called The Blast Radius, where I have found a guy who delivers an intro monologue that is fucking killer.
mhm,
He does it week in, week out, without major flubs and without ruining the shtick. And he wants to do it from the perspective of an old school radio host.
mhm,
And he's got all that laid down. I've been trying to find a Muslim to use for a weather girl, and I
mhm.
want her to wear full jihad. I mean,
Oh
sorry,
Lord.
hijab, jihad. Jesus Christ, what kind of fucking dude, my brain is fried. I've been doing this for too long. I want her in a green screen hijab, so that all you can see is like her eyes and her hands. Because I think it's funny. No other reason. I think it's humorous, because who on earth would go and get a weather girl that it isn't in a bikini or a really tight skirt but no, not only is she fully covered, but you can't actually see her because it's green screened.
That would be rough. That would be like the comedy portion of it's there if you get it, but
If you
most men look forward to the weather girl. Just
know,
saying.
that's the humor though. And just like most
Mhm,
people look forward to the intro monologue on Jay Leno or whatever, because he tells jokes and stuff. Uh,
mhm,
I want to handpick. I'm trying to handpick specific creators that naturally do a specific thing that fits into the format of some
mhm,
sort of news show like that, and get
mhm.
these creators together, wind y'all up, and just send y'all off in the world to go make buku money being hilarious. Like you get a cable show or something like. Whether you're doing it on YouTube or you're doing it professionally at home or however you do it, I'm going to be sitting back with my freaking nachos and my cheese dip, my Dr. Peppers, and just giggling my ass off the whole way. That's
Mhm.
what I'm for, is the entertainment. I'm going to laugh at
Yeah.
everybody. It's fine. I'll laugh at literal news, like on news that's supposed to be like deep. I laugh at that too,
Mhm.
because those people are also stupid. They're
Well, you have a very dark sense of humor as well, so
experience. Anyway,
one that we can all appreciate.
maybe. I don't know if
Mhm.
everybody, but I spent my whole life being told I wasn't funny, and it took me 35, 40 years to realize they just didn't like that joke. Mhm.
Well,
Have you
my
ever read?
jokes usually always suck, so I accept it, but people still laugh. Whether they're laughing at me or with me, that's up to them.
Yeah, no, you can laugh with me or you can laugh at me, and I don't really care which one it is. The way I put it is, I'm not actually a comedian. I just play one on YouTube. The jokes are fake, but the laughs are real. I went and clipped something today. Y'all want to see it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. This is so weird.
What's wrong with his eyes?
Okay. All right. So that's Asmongold, one of the larger YouTubers out there. And when he's doing these types of reaction, he makes his little camera just as tiny as it can get down there, right?
Mhm.
I used OBS to blow it up and put it on 1080p. And so the 1080p is having the trouble figuring out exactly where the eyeball is. And it's so hilarious. I'm thinking about uploading it saying a proof that Asmongold is a reptilian. That he's actually a flesh.
Oh,
I don't know. It's a trolly thing. I might send it to somebody else and get them to do it because I don't do trolls. I don't do that. That's
I
not
love
what
trolls. I think there's a difference between being a good troll and a bad troll. Like,
True.
for instance, my news from the Manosphere, I was a good troll. I would poke fun at people, things that they couldn't really decline because they said it. Like the
Right.
dudes over there talking about,
Hey now, if you're just bringing up facts, that's not trolling. That's just
I just take what they say and I take it out of context and I poke fun at what they say. That's all. Or I make fun of it or I add it to something else, you know.
So how
But
often do you do shorts?
huh?
How often do you do shorts?
Not often, not anymore. I went and made a whole bunch of them from all of my old content and I just like flooded. I remember Michelle texted me one day and she's like, I can't go into YouTube without getting hit by one of your shorts.
I get it all the time. If I don't upload a short for a little while, I start getting emails asking me if I'm okay.
No way. I try not to do the shorts too often now because I don't want that audience. I don't. They're too short. Low. What is it? The low.
Low information. Yeah.
No. Well, not only that, but the people. Low attention spans, yeah, and I don't want those people because I want the people that are showing up for the lives or the videos.
I got you.
Right?
I hear you, but
Yeah.
hear me out on this. So I started my channel by uploading a couple of shorts and a little short video, and then I filmed a Sasquatch sighting and put it in like old monster scratched up film type stuff and it was actually film of me coming out of the ocean. Just walking out of the ocean. There's nothing there. And
he is risen.
yeah, right. Well, that was one of the very first bits of video that I made specifically for the channel. Everything up to that point had been just like, oh, look, a deer. Oh, look, a freaking bird. Hey, there's dragonflies, that kind of stuff, right? I was trying to figure out how the phone worked and how the interaction of uploading worked. This is very early days on content creation. And I had this idea of what would happen if God looked down at Earth to see what was going on. And instead of looking actually at Earth, he decided to check TikTok. What would he think of us? When I tried to make that happen, my first thought was, okay, God, but I can't play God because that would offend half the freaking population on Earth.
It would be a dangerous one to do.
So I decided to do Zeus, you know, since I got the hair for it.
That makes sense.
It would work. But when I actually started filming it, it was terrible. It was really, really bad. It didn't look right. No amount of messing with it would help it. And so I was sitting there one day, and at the time I was uploading jokes daily, you know, I'd go tell 10 jokes, schedule them out. And somebody said in the comments was like, you know, if you only had one eye, you'd look like Odin. And
oh, that's a good one.
I was sitting next to my wife watching TV, and I stood up like somebody had hit me with electricity, like blam. I just rose like the Undertaker and looked at her. I said, don't judge me, and walked out. When I come back through, I was wearing a robe, had my hair teased out, and my had stabbing everything. She comes through, I come through, and she's sitting there eating, and she gets my fork about halfway to her mouth, and she just looks at me and starts laughing. And I mean, like spraying mac and cheese all over the thing. And I was like, that's exactly the reaction I'm looking for.
Do you have that? Can we play it?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I gotta see this.
You've seen it. You might not realize you've seen it. Yeah, you've seen it. It's at the beginning of virtually everything that I do.
I probably wasn't paying close. Well, I'm usually the link.
It's on this one. What are the humans doing?
Hey, I did see that one. Fair
That's
enough.
it. Now there's a little bit more to it, but nothing else really worked quite as well as that one. And having the
Mhm.
voice laid down, I did
Mhm.
that voice with a broken microphone.
That's your voice
That's me. Yes.
in the oh, wow.
What
It
are
sounded
the numbers?
different,
It's echoey. I've got a little bit of
like
gimmick,
some
a
reverb on it.
little reverb, yeah, and
Mhm.
I filter out some of the scratchy. Hey, this is Ava Squatch. This is my grandbaby. Say hi.
Aw, hello,
Hey,
sweet
there you go. Give
pea.
my mom and stuff.
Aw.
My goodness.
She just wanted to see Pops.
She wants to play with the microphone.
Oh, fair enough. Well, let her play with the microphone.
She's doing
Oh, I see.
right. She really
Aw.
digs that. Okay, so do you have a specific purpose for your channel, or is it just entertainment slash economics?
Well, it initially started as just a fun little thing. I was doing the news from the Manosphere for fun, like because I thought up this idea and I was like, man, what does the Manosphere not have? And I was like, it doesn't have a news anchor. So that was just purely fun, going on other people's panels, getting invited to shows and stuff like that. That was really fun. I loved it. I still love it. Um, and even when I started what?
Damn it. They're not for sale.
Bye.
But I could probably get more money for a white baby on the black market, to be honest. Just saying. I think I may have damaged my guest. We'll get back with you in a minute, folks.
Oh, I'm done playing with the internet. So
Yeah.
I mean, it really started out as fun. And when I started doing the live streams, that was supposed to be just one night a week. Let's just see what it does. It doesn't even matter if we get subscribers or anything. Like it was just pure, we're having fun. Well, that was at the end of January. And then my daughter was hospitalized and diagnosed with things back in
Please.
March.
Right.
And back in March, that happened, and it changed the entire dynamics of the channel because what she has is pretty expensive and costly, for her medications and things like that. And so I sat there and I told myself, do I want to go pick up a second part-time job, or do I want to try and see if the live streaming and the YouTube channel, because I was really close at that point. I was super close to being monetized already. So it was, very yeah, it was very
Yeah, no,
like
work through stuff like that.
yeah, it was like, God, I'm so close to being monetized. So let's push as hard as we can get and see what happens and see if it's even worth doing this. If not, I'll go bartend on the weekends. No big deal.
Right.
So I started picking up the pace, doing multiple streams. Now we have like the Mod Monday, we have the Sip and Stream, we have the Thursday nights, usually interviews. Those will actually pick up back up next week. And now Sunday night, Sleepy Tomato, which will be moved, or that's got a whole new transition coming. And I thought to myself, like, if I can just make enough, right, per month to take care of that, and then also my long-term goal for her is to set her up financially to where she'll never have to pay for her medication out of her own pocket ever again. So I
Right.
want to build that kind of like that legacy for her to cover that, because I don't feel like that's like her fault necessarily, and I don't ever want her to have to worry about it or not be able to get her medication. So now the entire channel has been kind of re-geared to financially supplementing that, and handling it. I mean, it could be a total bust later. You never know. If it happens, it happens, and I'll gladly go and bartend. I'm doing the work one way or the other.
Right.
The benefit of streaming is I'm still at home. I can still monitor her numbers. She's upstairs. She's safe. I can just close the screen and run up there if something's going wrong. Whereas if I go bartend on the weekends or something like I'm away from the house and now I don't know. But
I
you
totally
know,
get it. I totally get it.
mhm.
I call myself, when I'm not on YouTube, I call myself Uber Squatch because I have two adult daughters without vehicles. And so inevitably I spend more time driving than virtually anything else.
Mm,
Since it's
mm.
going to be a thing, I made sure to purchase a vehicle that I really enjoy driving.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, on top of that, I still love what I do. I still enjoy it. It's like I would do it regardless, even if it was just one night a week. But now the goal has changed. So now I'm like, I'm just gonna barrel into it and put everything I've got, like literally everything I've got. So it has a mission, it has a purpose, and we have fun doing it. Like I enjoy doing interviews. I love Mod Monday. That is my all-time favorite to do. The sip and streams can get a little kooky sometimes, but you never know what you're going to get. And then Sleepy Tomato, again, that's going to move and get its own channel, but that's a whole nother ball game. We'll talk about another day after I've set it up.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I'm expanding out. I just started the Spotify today.
You're on Spotify. You're going to have to tell me some stuff about that because I had somebody come in real hot and heavy on me one time saying, you're funny, you're hilarious, you're real funny. You should really do Spotify. You'd get to a lot more people. I'm like, dude, I'm not even verified on freaking YouTube. Like, okay, let me
Spotify
do some
wasn't hard. It really wasn't hard. It's like the Spotify for podcasters. You go, you set up your account, all of those things, and then just start uploading. Now, if that works out well, and I don't know, I'm trying different avenues, but if that works out well and you get like X amount of viewers and whatever, then you can monetize from there, and then you would do your verification. But
right.
outside of that, it was like just as easy as setting up a Facebook page. So,
Well, my Facebook page, I utilized my personal Facebook account and just went ahead and linked it up
mhm,
because I mean, I am me. I did go in and give it like a little facelift, put my YouTube logo and everything everywhere. I really hope
mhm.
one day the guy that owns this logo, owns this picture, will let me know so I can give some money because I can't. He seems to be like a pseudonym. Like there's a
Mhm,
few pieces of art by him, but they're not a real person.
mhm.
Obviously, an empty like pen name or something. I don't know,
Right.
but it's beautiful. I love it, and it looks like the dude that I saw in the woods that day. At least there's sunglasses on. Okay,
Yeah.
let's say you wake up tomorrow morning, right?
Mhm,
Or I tell you some of the super secret algorithmic tricks that I've learned backstage. Either way, and you have 10 million subscribers.
mhm.
Does that change your approach if you're suddenly fully funded, $300,000 a month?
Ah, no, I think I like the one thing I love is staying engaged with my viewers, my chatters, the people that show up and they're loyal. I try to do my best when they reach out to me outside of YouTube, on the different like the other social platforms. I do my best to keep up with them. Um, I can't always do it. Sometimes I have to just like stop and let it sit and then like I'll come back to this later because it gets to be a lot.
It does.
But Neo Starling, I'm so excited you're here. I love Neo. But I think I love having open panels. I love meeting new people. I love networking and I love connecting people and like that's just a piece of me that I found even in my real job, like my 9 to 5, like that's a big piece of what I do. So it's definitely a thing that I'm passionate about, I care about, and I think I'm good at it. So I don't think a lot of dynamics would necessarily change. I would keep it very um grounded with the people that show up and staying with them because they're the people that created you. If you really think about it,
Right.
they're the
Your
people that keep you
subscribers pay.
moving. Exactly. And if you're not giving back to them, if you're not recognizing them, if you're not giving the loyalties back, like, then they have no reason to stay. Now you do have to be mindful. There's still that parasocial relationship concept, but if you don't have an appreciation,
I like that parasocial relationship. That's
yeah.
I think most of my relationships might be parasocial.
Only you. But I think, having you have to remember where you are in that aspect. Like, you have to remember, because there's only one of me and there's hundreds of you. So when people are reaching out, or they're inquiring about something, or they want to get you on a show, or like, they have to keep in mind, like, I am one person and you are one of many. Just like being a bartender, there's 20 people standing in line waiting for drinks and only one of me here to make them. Patience is key, in recognizing, things of that nature. So yeah. But I think I I really love what we've done. I love staying humble, and I love staying with the people. And
Well,
Don Juan, may I read that?
please, anything you
Uh,
wish.
Don Juan coming in with the 4.99. He says, Venti, she made Trollo look like a clown. She's still waiting for the cops. Trollo said he was going to send Sara, Sasquatch chat. What up? And she did. She made him look like a buffoon. Absolute buffoon. It was hilarious, and I'm glad I got to, like, come back. That was my season 2, episode 1, and that all happened, like, that week, and I was so thankful, because I was like, "Oh, this is so good." So, yeah.
I love it. One of the things you have to keep in mind, even if you're just some random, if you're not an actual creator, this doesn't matter
Mhm,
as much. It still matters, but not as much. Panel hoppers that don't make content but are content are
mhm,
dangerous. They're
mhm,
dangerous because they don't think creator thoughts.
mhm.
They
They
don't
don't have
take
anything to
into account
lose.
terms of service. They have nothing to lose. There's nothing attached to it. There's no reason for them to act AdSense friendly,
Mhm,
whether you're that far along or not. The goal, the way I see it in YouTube, is to figure out a way to take whatever content is presented and make it monetizable. No
mhm.
one joins YouTube just to have fun or just for this. There's always that little worm in the back of your head saying, if you're not careful, you're going to end up being viral. This is where that stuff happens. And if that happens, what are you going to do? Right? Like, what happens if you wake up one morning and you're viral? But it could happen to any one of us because we happen to say a phrase that the next morning becomes a headline news thing or
Mhm.
something like that. Make a small prediction on some stream, and the next thing you know, you're a household name, like Hot Tua. You know what I mean?
And
My
that actually, she only had a 15-minute fame, because I saw the thing where she, like, showed up at some concert, and they had her show up on stage for something, and the audience was just, it was grasshoppers chippering. Yeah, it was quiet.
well, I mean, like you said, it's how you segue it. It's how you work that.
Mhm,
I always say you don't learn anything by winning.
mhm.
Winning teaches you nothing.
Yep.
Losing, errors, mistakes. These are the things that teach you. These are the things that make character. When I started YouTube, I did a couple of videos, and then I did the Odin Seas. That thing went 144,000 views and killed my phone with notifications. A charging phone died and then completely charged up full. I woke up the next morning. I was like, damn, my phone's off. I turned it on and it died again.
Oh my god.
It just sat there. I only had 12 subscribers.
Wow.
And so I was like, I sat it down and I walked downstairs while it was still vibrating from the notifications. And I sat down and I grabbed a banana off the table. We were at the beach. We were on vacation when this happened. And I set it down and I peeled the banana. I looked at my wife and she looked over at the phone and it's just sitting there.
Oh, wow.
She's like, what did you say? And I looked at her face, What are the humans doing? She said, that can't be it. That's what I said.
You're like, you watched me show up in the cape and that happens. Like, you watched me do it.
Dude, I mean, I've actually kind of had to lay off of that because the formula for Odin Seas is right on the very edge of terms of service. It's basically find someone on TikTok doing something really stupid and show them doing it. And that is very close to promoting stupidity. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even really talk about it because YouTube's so strict about it. But yeah, I've had to kind of lean back on that one a little bit. And the other one I did, and this is another one of those what if you wake up viral tomorrow morning moments. I was mucking around on the computer and I noticed Maui and blue were the two most trending words in Google. And I turned, picked up my phone, went and found a video that showed a blue car in Maui that wasn't burned, and then simply recorded, for some reason, Maui blue is trending. That's it. Like 90,000 views, some absurd number of freaking views.
Wow.
Just don't close off shorts just because you don't like the people. They won't you because they won't show up. It won't matter.
Yeah, but I don't want them to subscribe or anything. And then kind of end up with empty subscribers who don't show up, because I would rather focus on the people who find me, right? They come, let's say they come across this live right now and they're interested and they're like, oh, who's this girl? Right. And then they get engaged and they involve in the chat, or maybe they're just viewers and they don't like being in the chat. You know, I want them completely engaged and I want them to commit. That's why my chats are always set to like 20 minutes or more, like for subscribers, because if you're going to come across this live stream, I want you to sit and think about it for 20 minutes before you hit that button to be able to chat. Being in my chat, to me, I think it's a privilege, not a right.
Yes.
You know, so I don't want just anybody in there. I want you to commit and think about it and really engage for a good solid 20 minutes. And if at that 20 minutes you've thought about it, you're like, all right, you know, and then, I'm not worried about the viral views. I'm not worried about getting big and crazy. I'm focused on the people who it's quality versus quantity. And I think I have a great chat. I think I have great people that show up. They're very committed. They're very loyal. And they provide nonetheless. Now, my videos that I'm sending out, like the interviews, those are doing their thing. That, let the ad revenue do its thing, whatever. And if people choose to subscribe after that, fine. But as far as the live and going viral and subscriptions, quality versus quantity for me.
I get that. I do. I understand what you're saying. Let me put it across this way. Let me try this. So 3 weeks ago, I was not doing the whole monetization thing. There was none of that was even a consideration because YouTube hadn't authenticated me or verified me or whatever it was. I had submitted it at some point in time, a month ago, 2 months, whatever. It just didn't go through. Right. Nobody told me why. I didn't get I just gave up, forgot about it, went on with what I was doing. And then about a week and a half ago, poof, that popped up. And I was like, oh, so I guess maybe I can monetize. I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that.
Takes a while for that to go through.
Right. So I haven't even clicked none of that yet. I was just like, oh, I'm verified. That's cool. Or double authenticated, whatever they call it. Anyway. So right after that, I hooked up with Juicy J's over there, Jay's Hot Topics, Midlife Bro Logic, somebody else. Anyway, the three of us started doing vertical live streams. When any one of us goes live and we're doing a vertical, we send the link to the other people. And so back and forth. I've thrown down as many hours in the past 2 weeks as I've had in the previous 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of view hours, absolutely useless
Mm-hmm.
to me. Hundreds and hundreds. That I just is just not usually a thing. In fact, because of the way YouTube does the monetization scales, they don't really show you what you do above a certain point. If you go beyond their metric that they have available for you to see, you don't get to see the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you're not approved up to a certain level and you need, it's 3,999, that's all you're going to get. You can't go above that.
Hmm.
Even if you have 7,000 view hours, you only see that 220 that you lost from the previous year's videos falling off. Right.
Yeah. The real time?
Yeah. Lifetime.
Oh,
When you go to real time, that's mechanisms that a non-monetized channel doesn't even really have access to.
I always had it.
There is a stage. Well,
The real time?
once you
Yeah.
got 50 subscribers, it starts opening special features.
Mm.
So once it's kind of hard to explain. They have a tierage of
Mhm.
subscriber count. The more subscribers you have, the more subscriptions you can have. So if you've only got 50 subscribers, you're limited to 500 channels to subscribe to.
Really?
Yes. The feed, most people don't even notice because most people don't watch. You're also limited by the number of notifications you can get.
Oh.
Not only get, but also send out. So when you start a live stream,
Mm-hmm.
10% of your people get a notification right then. And it's kind of random, although they say that they do your first subscribers or your most dedicated subscribers, and it's kind of a mix of them. You ever had people tell you, well, I'm not getting notifications anymore?
That actually just happened beginning of July. Like it just I did that debate Oracle and
Right.
Andrew Wilson. We did that debate. And then I took the rest of the week off and I think I came back for a sip and stream maybe. And my numbers just tanked overnight. And I was like, what happened? And then next thing I know, I have people messaging me like, I didn't get a notification. What happened?
That was you
And
spanking your booty for not putting out content for some amount of time.
but the Andrew and Oracle debate was just like I had already planned on taking that time off, but that debate just harnessed so many views that I was like, I think I'm all right now.
But it doesn't count for activity. That does not
Yeah.
count for channel activity.
Yeah, I got spanked hard.
They spanked you for it.
Yeah, because my numbers just I was having anywhere from like 80 to 100 viewers average down to like 10, and I was like, where's all my people?
Yeah, it can be frustrating, very frustrating,
Mhm.
especially if you don't understand why it happened.
I
This
figured,
was
well, there was a lot of
do
combinations
work.
in surrounding that time frame between me taking off and the drama appeal and things that were said and things that were done. And it was like a horrible combination all at once. And like all of the communities I'm connected to all had some type of drama that was relating to me, or they all wanted to be mad at me for something. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is everybody hating me?
Well,
So it was,
is you weren't around to defend yourself for an amount of time, and the accumulated bad news, the bad people out there were able to speak freely without any
Mhm.
real vocalization from you.
Yeah.
But that type of an algorithmic spanking is something that can be avoided in two ways. Take your pick. One, upload a short every day that you're not going to be doing something, and it doesn't have to be special. Fucking film a leaf. It doesn't matter. It's just it's activity. That's what they want. Activity. Doesn't have to be great. Activity. The other way, and this is something I think you could really make use of. In your community tab, you can do polls. And if you can figure out how to kind of tailor your polls towards the types of tastes that your audience already has, that counts as a daily upload. And it also counts as activity when people touch your buttons.
Oh, I like it when people touch my buttons.
Right? Me too. But I don't share my buttons. Don't touch me.
Mm.
It's mine. I'm mine. I'm me.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, I did start running because I'm going back because most of my stuff is behind the paywall now. And I went through because I want to kind of like clean it up. So I went through and I've started an interview campaign, right? And this way I can upload because the interviews are great, I think. And so that got uploaded to Spotify as well. And I want to really like harness in the interview concepts of what I've been doing. So I've been going through editing them to where it's all like I clean the language up, I censor it, I edit and cut a little bit, take the panel off that usually happens at the end, and then re-uploading it. And I've been trying to re-upload it on days that I'm not streaming, so
brilliant.
that yeah. So and
Yeah,
that because with this started back in what January, February. So that content is going to feed me through probably the next 6 months of
right.
going through. It takes a lot of work to like I can
It does take a
maybe
little
get to
while.
a week if I yeah, but
We're at the
but
end of the show. We've actually run over. I've been sitting here jabbering back and forth with you.
I like jabbering.
No, we're not quitting, but there's going to be a change that takes place here because what happens in After Dark might involve copyrighted material.
Mhm.
I'm going to disconnect your channel from it. Anyone who wants to continue seeing you laugh at stupid things like fish that injects opioid venom into its enemies,
Mhm.
uh, should either pop over to my chat or go do something useful with your lives. I mean, there's homeless, there's veterans, there's homeless veterans you can go help out.
You could probably leave it. I'll turn off the ad revenue and then the copyright won't matter for me.
It's part of the program. This part
Oh,
is
you
I
want
don't
to do it. All
I
right, let me
don't
drop your
know.
link.
Just that I don't know whether or not what I'm using will come as a copyright strike or as a copyright claim, and I don't want to risk anyone else's channel. Everything in Sasquatch Shills is
Mhm.
either mine and part of the show or is copyright free. So this part is always safe as houses. What comes up
Mhm.
next may very well involve serial killers or things that people don't necessarily want on their channel and that
Fair
YouTube
enough.
really like. I'm
Fair
able to
enough.
get away with it because I'm not monetized, and the worst they can do really is copyright claim me or take the video down. But if they take the
Well,
video,
yeah, usually you get a notice first saying, "Hey, there's a copyright claim. Do you want to mute it? Do you want to cut it out? What do you want to do?" And then you just click which option you want to do. It's never really that big of a deal. But to everybody in my chat, I have dropped the link in the chat to Sasquatch's channel. So if you could all hurry your butts over to this side, go ahead, click that link because he's going to disconnect shortly, and then you won't be able to get over here because that's going to suck.
I'm gonna
Um,
do a play out. It's gonna be about a minute and a half, so you got a little bit of time. Go do your
Well, no, just get over here now. We're going to end it on my end. All right. So get your butts over, follow that little link. Mom, hit the link that's above your name. And then we will continue the party. I've got,
At that point, it becomes an open panel. If you're in her
oh,
come up, I do have one rule. There is no trolling the guest. That is not acceptable. So if Based Oracle shows up, most of the people that come up on
nah,
after
Based won't troll
typically
me. No, we're
previous.
good.
I'm just saying any previous guests have preferential treatment over anybody that's not a previous guest. It's the After Dark of Sasquatch Shills. That's the
No, is
I'm
it
very
after
tired. I'm
dark?
sorry. Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
what I call it.
it's
After Dark.
after dark with champagne, and I've got two more. Oh no, wait, that was the third. That was the third. Oh shit. I've
Are we
got
out?
one more glass.
Uh-oh. So
And
it
then
looks
it's
like
on to water.
I don't know how well that's going to go. Hello, Mama Tomato. Welcome to the chat. I'm going to do the whole outro thing, and I'll bring you back up in about 2 minutes. All right.
All right. While you do that, I'm gonna tinkle actually.
You do what you do. You do you, boo boo. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Sasquatch Shills. That has been the Raging Tomato, and I appreciate everyone's attention for the past hour. Go check her out. She does all kinds of stuff. We haven't even scratched the surface here, but you get the idea of how she interacts with people, and she seems to be good people doing great things on YouTube. I really appreciate her time, and each one of y'all if you can't take care of yourself, try taking care of something else. Because you got to start somewhere, right? So without further ado, I'm going to poke one of these other buttons that I haven't used recently. We're going to go with Ladies and gentlemen, class of 99, wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have long been proven by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind, you will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they faded. But trust me, in 20 years, you'll look back at your photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You are not as fat as you imagine. Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to bring things that never crossed your worried mind. The kind that blindside you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Do one thing every day that scares you. Sing. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts. Don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Floss. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, only with yourself. Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. If you succeed doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives, and some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. Get plenty of calcium. Be kind to your knees. You'll miss them when they're gone. Maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have children, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll divorce at 40. Maybe you'll dance the funky chicken on your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance. So are everybody else's. Enjoy your body. Use it every way you can. Don't be afraid of it or what other people think of it. It's the greatest instrument you'll ever own. Dance. Even if you have nowhere to do it, but in your own living room. Read the directions, even if you don't follow them. Do not read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly. Get to know your parents. You never know when they'll be gone for good. Be nice to your siblings. They're your best link to your past, and the people most likely to stick with you through the future. Understand that friends come and go, but for the precious few you should hold on. Work hard to bridge the gaps in geography and lifestyle, because the older you get, the more you need the people you knew when you were young. Live in New York City once, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once, but leave before it makes you soft. You should travel. Accept certain inalienable truths. Prices will rise, politicians will philander, you will get old, and when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. Respect your elders. Don't expect anyone else to support you. Maybe you have a trust fund, maybe you'll have a wealthy spouse, but you never know when either one might run out. Don't mess too much with your hair. or by the time you're 40, it will look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's actually worth. But trust me on the sunscreen, that's a fact. I thank you. My mama thank you too. She did. Oh, baby. We got everybody in here and everybody happening. What is up, truth be told, baby? This man gives away free mustache rides every Saturday. Too bad it's Thursday.
Hey, I've gone to 4 days a week now. I've gone to 4 days a week.
Oh.
It's all good.
I'm proud of you.
Well, one day
Sarah,
we
did
just,
you freeze up?
it
Or you
wasn't covering
just,
the bills, dude, so I had to up it up to 4 days to cover the bills. So
yeah, shaking your tallywhacker out there on the dance floor ain't paying like it used to back in the 60s when that mustache was cool, does it?
hell no. And then now, because they just passed that BS law here in Louisiana, I'm definitely gonna have to get some bail money. So
Oh yeah, no, I'm wondering about that. I've been kind of worried about it. Raging Tomato, Sarah.
Yeah.
This is truth be told. He is an auditor in Louisiana, actually a cop watcher in Louisiana. He follows around cops and makes sure they're not shaking down people too hard, too much,
right.
and for the wrong things.
Well, my ex-husband was a cop, so I don't know how much will fare. But
Oh
cheers.
yeah. I'm surprised you're still alive. 'Cause those cops are usually, I don't know. They say that there's good cops, but I don't believe there is any good ones out there. I really don't. So
He was a very great man, or is a great man.
yeah.
Magnificent.
They don't wake up in the morning and think like, they don't wake up in the morning and think, how can I fuck shit up? Right. They have families, they have children. They wake up and they say, oh, I got to go to work. And they go to work just the same as anybody else does. Unfortunately, they have to put up with a bunch of shit. Now, there are some issues out there. I'm not going to say that there's not. But outside of that, the normal ones, the good apples, the good eggs, are, they wake up, they put their boots on, they put their cargo pants on, they put their belts on,
Right.
and they go to work.
They're people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they're just hoping that day that they can get home back to their families at the end of it all.
And I hear this, quite often, but at the same time, I do believe that people that become cops, they want to go do the right thing, but when they become cops, they realize that they're part of that blue line gang, and at that moment, they can't go against that thin blue line gang. And the problem with policing is I'm sure that there's a lot of cops that want to do the right thing, but at the same time, if they see another cop violating somebody's rights, they necessarily can't stop them because they know that their job is at jeopardy at that point from there on out. And that's a major, maja problem. We need more cops that will actually
I don't think that's 100% true. Like you're putting a narrative out there about a general population of people.
Children.
That's happened to me several times. I've got firsthand experience.
It's good. It's good, Sasquatch. It's not hurting my feelings. I'm just saying, like, we're looking at the perspective of, yeah, there's some bad eggs out there, just like there's some bad doctors out there, just like there's bad people out there. It happens. Shit happens.
Bad
but
doctors carrying guns.
Well, bad doctors that butcher surgeries, bad doctors that give you the wrong prescriptions, bad doctors that can kill you and then don't take any of the blame. Actually, I think it was Based Oracle who brought this up as like the most deaths caused are by doctors. But we all go to them trustingly and hopefully and hoping that they can cure us of our ailments. Just the same as for cops, we hope that when we call 911, we hope they're going to come and protect us, right?
Do this. Why does a doctor have a practice, but a plumber has a trade?
I think that's just a semantics of wording, honestly.
It's
because there is no perfection, right? You're practicing medicine because you like nobody knows what, let's say, nobody knows what the flu is until there's enough practice coming along to discover what the virus is and how to cure it. It's
I
a
hear the
practice.
semantics,
It's an
but
ever going practice, whereas a trade is a skill and something that once you learn it, now there is ever growing progress with new technology, new objects, new things to utilize, but it's not necessarily, you're not practicing the human body and the differences between things and learning things that are constantly ever, like, it never stops.
I get where you're going. I dig it.
And that's a semantics argument.
When I first started my channel and I went looking for people to interview, I ran into 10,000 slam doors. They took one look at my name, Caucasian Sasquatch, and said, nope,
Love your name.
nope, 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 nope. This man here was one of the very first people who were like, I don't know, man, you sound pretty shady. I sent him my phone number. I was like, dude, I don't know what else to do. You can either talk to me or don't. That's your call. And I explained to him how I planned to do the show. At the time, I'd only done 2 shows. One is with a guy who had like 10 subscribers, and the other one was with a guy who had 50 subscribers. And I personally know them both. Right. I was just like, look, I've got to get some traction on this thing. I've got to put something down that looks something, and then he was the third person that I hit up. And after a little bit of waffling, very little, I sent him a phone number and he called me and we talked for about an hour. And then like that weekend, that Thursday, we did the show, and he's part of the reason why I do it on Thursdays, because that was the day he had available, and that's when Sasquatch Shills happened. And it grew from there because I was a mod for NC Tyrant Hunter. He uploaded the video where he thumped a cigarette out the window and the cop jacked his ass straight up for no good reason whatsoever. And I hit him up and was like, hey, I'd like to talk about that. And that sort of created the concept. At the time, it was called Sasquatch Says, right? And it wasn't until I hosted DJ K Dot, and he's like, man, you remind me of one of those old carny shills that just push a particular game over at the carnival. And I said, you just renamed my show, bud. It's now Sasquatch Shills. I mean, I went in and changed it on the spot. That would be Sasquatch Shills 1 if I had to pick one.
Well, Thursday night's a good prime time too. I chose Thursday nights because LFA, because I was a panelist for him quite often, but he would go off, I think it was like 7. And so I chose the 9:15 slot so that he could get the crux of his show down. And then he would turn into panel after like the first hour or so. So this way, everybody that was a fan over there could enjoy his show, do what they wanted to do. And then I would sound off. And that was around the time he would be shutting down anyways. So now the 9:15, well, and because that's after I get the kids to sleep, like 8:30, 8:45. And that's when it's mom time. Like they know 9 o'clock is mom time. So
did you look into any type of ratings research before you decided on that?
No, I chose it to follow. Well, it followed my timeline based off of my life. The Thursday night 9:15 slot was based off of me, because I wanted to follow LFA. But then addition to that, because of the kids and Fridays I work from home, so it wouldn't hurt if I'm up a little late because I don't have to get up quite as early, things like that. So it was like, it worked out very well. But then that 9:15 slot just kind of carried over into all of the other evenings. And I'm like, all right, we're the night crew. It's going to be that. So
yeah. Earlier, when you were talking about Oracle, like what kind of Oracle? You said somebody did like Oracle work. Is it like, were you talking about like tarot cards or Oracle?
No, Based Oracle is a channel name. He's a YouTuber. It's okay. I would expect. Yeah, we don't. If you don't,
it threw me off a little bit. So.
Yeah, if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah.
You know how you're laser focused on the Manosphere and the silliness that spills out of it? That's him with auditing. So if you're not either in auditing, cop watching, reviewing auditors, talking about auditors, interviewing auditors or something, he's probably never heard of it. I had to explain who Mr. Beast was to him the first time I mentioned it.
He's
I only know
on his show that I've been up on panel and I've been 100% lost because I'm not smart when it comes to like a lot of different things, but I'm definitely intrigued. I love to learn all kinds of different kinds of things. I watch all kinds of YouTube channels, and there's definitely some interesting stuff out there. And I believe knowledge is power. The more you know, the better off you are. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love just looking up everything.
I only know who Mr. Beast is because my son, we were at the grocery store one day and he was like, "Mom, it's the Mr. Beast like cookie or something like that." And I was like, "Mr. Beast?" And he's like, "Yeah, and my son calls him it's Yube Tube. It's not YouTube, it's Yube Tube." He's like, "Yeah, he's a YouTuber." And I was like, all right. So we got one cookie, and that was the end of that. And but that led me to now we're watching YouTube together and figuring out like who this Mr. Beast is and blah 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 blah. But I actually got sucked into one of Mr. Beast's shows the other day. And I don't know how I got sucked in,
It's
but I was like, that's
it's
damn good
so
marketing, man.
good, isn't it? It's so
Oh
it's
yeah.
I
like
got sucked
you're
in.
rolling through doing some crap and you take your hand off your phone for a
No,
second.
it's my son. Because he likes to he pulls the YouTube up on the our TV, and that's the only way he's allowed to watch it because now it's like in the family room and like I can hear what's going on and what he is watching. But he had it pulled up and we were sitting there playing with dinosaurs, and like next thing I know, he's like, Mom, you got to make the T-Rex do this and this. And I realized like my brain was sucked into Mr. Beast. Like I forgot what I was doing.
Always remember to check on your
I've got to meet some pretty interesting YouTubers. Like I didn't, I've always known what magnet fishing is. Where you use a magnet to go fishing around boat docks and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I've gotten to meet actually go magnet fishing with Outdoors Weekly, and that was a great experience and stuff like that. And I don't know if you know Sam and Colby. Have you ever heard of them?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they're other YouTubers. They do paranormal work.
Oh,
So
cool.
on the
good stuff.
26th of this month, I'm going to get a chance to go meet up with them and go do some paranormal work. So I think, like I said, since I've been in the YouTube world, my mind's expanded and I'm getting to try out some different things that I've always seen people do and never been able to experience. But now I'm going to get that chance to, go experiment with different things and, expand my mind and stuff like that because it's like a sponge. Like I love learning
Right.
all of this stuff. It's
You
entertaining.
sound like
So.
you're gonna go do some ayahuasca with some shamans.
Mhm.
Oh, oh yeah, for sure.
I imagine you go get your head right while they're around there. I ain't got no doubt on that. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
a channel
It's
called Acorn
entertaining too.
Stash. He collects memes and reads them out. Listen to this. Well, I can't play it because I got it slowed down. Dude's voice sounds like he comes straight out of like a 1960s cartoon ad. Like it's amazing. What's up, Toe for Life? Good to see you, bud.
What's up, Joe? I can't even see comments. I don't know where my comments are not working. I don't know what in the world's going on.
It'd be like that. I can pop them up if you want. I don't know, man. I've been trying to set up some method of doing traveling to try to get the a whole bunch. Hit the link or don't, man. It's up to you. We got a Raging Tomato in here doing her after dark, and truth be told, showed up because he saw Hot Blonde on screen and he can't help but simp, which is okay. It happens.
It's normal.
No,
I'm used to it.
honey, I was talking about me. Back off. What is God?
It's that long hair.
Is it blonde? Does the curtain match the drape? Or wait, what is it? Does the carpet match the drapes?
We knew.
I
what you
get
meant when
I get
we
that
knew what you
question
meant.
a lot. It's
got har-
ridiculous.
I got hardwood floors.
Oh,
And he polishes them every night.
It's well polished. I don't got no hair on my chest because grass don't grow on a playground.
There you go. There you go.
I can do this all night.
I
Like,
love like rubbing a man's chest with like the hairy like the we're not talking like a grizzly bear, but just enough to rub your fingers through. That's sexy from a lady's perspective.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
It's perspective. Some girls like it, some girls don't. So I mean, it's a preference. It really is. So
I'm going to tell my Sasquatch sighting story. It's a Thursday, so on Thursdays it's Sasquatch. On off days it's a hobo in a fur coat.
Fair enough.
All right. So and I'm going to do this not drunk so that it's not as choppy as usual.
No, start drinking. Catch up to me.
I don't have any alcohol. Ain't doing it. So
Unacceptable.
you're gonna live with it because it's not changing.
I'll drink for us both.
There was a good girl. There was a particular year when in my mid-teen years when we experienced the worst drought I've ever witnessed in my life. Not since nor before have I ever seen it get that dry. It was so dry that standing oak trees were just dying. Just so a whole bunch of dead wood standing out in the woods today that died that summer.
What year is this?
97-ish, 96.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe. It was crispy, right? And I live in a swamp, and there was no water in the swamp. And I've never seen this before. And so naturally, I was a bit curious exactly what places looked like when it was dry. And so I decided I was going to go, quote unquote, hunting, which is essentially walking around with a gun and not getting killed by a bear. That's nothing. There was nothing moving. Nothing bigger than a freaking hummingbird was moving anywhere. Everything, it was so hot.
They're
so
all
dry.
dehydrated.
They were just all laying out, waiting patiently for the weather to break. And there's this old story locally. There's a location in the swamp referred to as the Medlock Hole, right? I don't know why it's called the Medlock Hole, but that's what it's called. It's a sinkhole that is typically 15 feet underwater, and it's 60 foot deep. Maybe 25 feet across. It's not real big. So I decided to go see what this looked like because the legend says, at least the old folks tell you, there's always water in the Medlock Hole. Oh, this seemed like a perfect time to go figure that out. Like how could I even find the place if I wasn't in a canoe? Because the whole place looks totally different. I mean, there's hills and places that you just row across. You know, it was completely discombobulating. And it took me a little while to kind of work my way around over there. In fact, to find it, I had to go find the creek, which was way back there, like 2 miles away from the road at this point. Usually you can put out at the road in a canoe and just row over there. So I had to walk that whole distance. And when I found the creek, it's like, I don't know, a shoebox wide, maybe two, maybe half a hand there. Remember, sinkholes. So there's a lot of water running underneath that's not apparent on the surface right here.
Correct. Yeah.
But I didn't think about that at the time. At the time, I was like, wow, you know, this is amazing. The stuff at the bottom right next to the creek, you could pick it up, throw it in the air, and it would just float. It was just silt, dust, like talcum powder.
Poof.
Wild. So I'm wandering upstream going, okay, well, the Medlock Hole has to be over here somewhere. And finally, I see the 3 cypress trees that mark it. And I should have been able to walk straight to it and probably could have if I'd have just thought about the fact that, well, it's over there and just walk there. But that's the really hard walk. And so I ended up going around a big, long way that I didn't have to go. And so by the time I get there, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And I've gotten to the point where I put my gun across my shoulders and I'm just kind of using it because I've got to walk back out of here. You know, like I'm looking at exactly the same trip back out and I still haven't found it. And I realized, oh, well, there it is. I go over there with my fishing pole, but just as I'm approaching, let me lay this out. Snow white sand on the ground. It's not really sand, it's powder, but it's snow white. There's a small hill 20 foot away that sticks up not quite to the surface of where the water usually is. And there's a patch of trees up on top of it. There is 3 really big cypress trees, 2 on the right, 1 on the left. And the Medlock Hole is actually right in the middle of them. You know how cypress have them big tent bottoms?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're like this big around when they stick out of the water, but if the water drops a little bit, they might be 8 foot in diameter down there. Well, these things did do that all the way down underwater, all the way to the ground, and there's cypress knees sticking up out of the sand everywhere. And right over here, there's a almost perfectly round hole between the 3 trees. And there's some dude sitting there, squatted down, drinking out of it. And without thinking, I go, hey, man, you probably shouldn't be drinking. And he looks back over his shoulder. And I realize that's not a person. He has no nose. His nose doesn't stick out like mine. It's like sort of like a gorilla's. It's just flat right there. You know, it's way more open and flat. It's like this part got cut off or something. And he's fuzzy. Homie is a bikini wax away from voting Democrat. He and I'm so confused by what I'm seeing. I just trail off. And he looks over his shoulder. He gives me this really disappointed, like, damn, look, like, man, now I got to go find somewhere else to drink. And he didn't run. He just stood up and padded off across. I was stepping over the little cypress knees that were only sticking up about yay far. And when he would step over them, it wasn't like you or I would do it where we'd give a little hop to get over it. He just kind of worked his knee over the top of it. He didn't stretch out his toes or anything, no kind of hop or nothing. He just went straight over the top of it. His body never moved up and down like someone like us walking. It was different. He just walked away. And I want to specify this. Have you ever seen a dark colored tortoiseshell cat with a pattern that looks like dappled light and shadow on pine straw?
Yeah, everywhere, especially out here. I got nothing but swamps and cypress trees and turtles
So,
and gators.
If homie had been standing 3 foot to the right or 3 foot to the left, I would have never seen him because he would have blended perfectly into the background of the cypress trees or the leaves that were a little further over here but he was standing in that white sand right in front of the water, and on the other side of the water was more white sand, and so he was silhouetted. When he stood up, he just kind of faded the fuck out. He walked away, and as soon as he walked into where the leaves were on the ground, I couldn't see him anymore. And I stood there just utterly flummoxed for a minute and a half. And when I realized he was completely gone, I went, that's weird. And I walked over, took my shoe off, and stuck my foot down on one of his footprints. And he was maybe a size 11. Not Bigfoot. He was not 7 foot tall. He was maybe 6'5", maybe, and built kind of like David Beckham, like a European footballer. Are we accepting a filthy Phil?
Filthy Phil's cool.
He's an acceptable guest.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a sweetheart.
What's up, Filthy?
Oh, I came up to say that you have a wonderful beard.
Oh, thank you. Most people ask me.
No, he was talking to me.
Most people ask me what Radagast said when I stole it from him.
Oh, nice. I thought it was more Rasputin-like.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't quite have the Manson lamps that man had, but my nickname when I was very young was Rasputin. I almost made that my YouTube name, and in retrospect, I kind of wish I had, because that would have been way funnier.
That guy was really fascinating. We were actually born on the same day, I found out.
So
Rasputin?
Yeah, have y'all ever looked into Rasputin?
Nope.
All right, I'm going to tell you the most important. Yeah, the Russian priest that basically owned the Russian royal family. What were they called? What were the names? Anastasia Romanovs.
Romanovs.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to get into the sex cult or the abuse and all that stuff. I'm just going to go over the
I didn't know that was even a thing.
Oh yeah.
Homie apparently had some game. He had some hardcore game. I don't know how, I don't know why, but he had some real game. My mama made me promise I wouldn't start a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Rasputin. So the legend of Rasputin's death goes like this. And Rasputin was invited over, and due to there being some unrest in the countryside, the meal was moved from the grand ballroom down to one of the safer underground basements. The different people involved in his assassination entered the room as, if I remember right, they came in as the serving. They came in to serve the food, and they laid all the food out. All of the food in this repast was poisoned in specific parts, and those parts were served to Rasputin. The wine was poisoned. The supposedly, and I don't have any evidence of this, but it's in at least one YouTube video, the candles had been tainted by arsenic that were lighting the table. Everyone who entered this room had every belief that they would all die trying to kill this man. They knew it. They brought in soldiers upstairs while this is taking place. Rasputin sits down, eats 4 full courses, gets up to excuse himself to the bathroom, and has a noose wrapped around his neck by the guy who was serving on the left, and is stabbed in the chest by the guy on the right, where they choke him out until he hits the ground, and they step away and say, okay, we've killed him. And he stands up, pulls the noose off, and says, I still need to go to the bathroom, and goes upstairs.
Yeah.
The story goes, he goes to the bathroom where he spends some amount of time alone in the bathroom, where he comes out with blood on his hands saying, I seem to have cut myself. I think I'm going to leave. He goes to leave to go to the boat that has brought him here, and they shoot him in the fucking courtyard. They unload some amount of ammo. No one knows how much, but they shot him a bunch. Not a little bit, not once or twice. They shot him to make sure he was dead, right? And then while they're standing there talking about how, we just got rid of him, and the guys downstairs are in the process of dying of arsenic poisoning and shit, like, Rasputin gets up and continues walking to his boat that's supposed to take him, to safety or whatever, when one of the privates notices him walking away and takes a lieutenant's sword and cuts his head off. And the body falls onto the boat. They kick it into the freaking canal or buried it somewhere special or whatever.
What the fuck?
Not long afterwards, they executed the entire Romanov clan. These were the same people. Now, if you carry it back, I mean, he was stabbed, poisoned, shot, beheaded, and supposedly his body still made it to the vehicle he was leaving in. It's very reminiscent of Blackbeard swimming around the boat 7 times, right?
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's not even that's talking about his death. That's
It's just the death.
Omitting his entire life.
Yes. Because homie, listen, he was a priest, right? He correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. He was an Orthodox Christian, like Eastern Orthodox Christian.
A bastardized version.
His version. He used it as his personal cult. He goes into this area where the Romanovs had their summer house. He takes up a period of time at the parsonage. He helps out with the church around there, and several things start happening simultaneously. Men start dying, women are left widowed, and the Romanovs' youngest son has hemophilia. It becomes rumored that he has a cure for hemophilia, and they go to visit. They meet him. He's taken on as the Romanovs' doctor for their hemophiliac son, and through that, he ends up feng shuangling his way into being
the magician of the family.
Yes, he actually he used opium as one of his treatments Almost all of his treatments had opium in it, and all of his parishioners were either relatively young, beautiful women, or they were non-existent. They would show up at work for a while and just disappear. Now, no one ever accused him of murdering people or anything like that, but the level of influence this man generated over the mother, I can't remember her name. God, I used to know that. Anyway, she became completely infatuated with the man to such an extent that it's commonly believed that
Alexandria.
could very well have been, yes.
Yeah.
Anastasia was the daughter. That was the Romanovs.
Yeah, Alexandria Feodorovna.
Wood. It's a hard one to say. She's from that's the town she's from. I don't think she was a royal at all. I think she was like Peter's second wife or whatever.
She was
Prince of, yeah, she was princess when she became married. Yeah.
Princess Alex of Hesse, and by Rhine at birth. It was the last empress of Russia.
Right. So
when she married
she
Nicholas.
essentially was the one with due to the way Catherine the Great set up her dynasty, right? She ended up with the keys to the throne. She thought she was the mother of a hemophiliac child, and she dedicated her entire life to keeping that child alive, right? So when she comes across somebody who, for all intents and purposes, seems to be able to keep this kid alive, like he no longer bleeds out when he pricks his finger, and no one knows how Rasputin did that.
But especially if opium was his drug of choice, per se.
That was, I believe, the way he got everybody to bend to his will long term. I think he may have actually had some folk remedy that did help with clotting. Plus, he was one of the early users of the concept of a plaster, of using a really dry substance to stop bleeding. I don't remember reading of it being used previous to his time period, but that was around the time period that type of stuff started being done. Anyway. Over the next 5 years, he accumulates a third of Russia's wealth. Some absurd amount of influence, because at one point in time, Alexandrine was no longer going to meetings and stuff. She was instead sending him, and he would delegate somebody to go do it. He was essentially the ad hoc emperor of Russia for what, like 9 years or something. And I can't remember which revolution. Was it the October Revolution or the Night of the Long Knives or something like that? I can't remember. Anyway,
when they attacked the Romanovs,
right? When they took down the Romanovs, right before they took down that whole thing, they killed him first. Like before anybody made a move, there was any coup, nobody did nothing till that man was dead. And then they were
which
like,
would
okay,
make sense, because if that's the healer and the magician of the family, that would be the first person I would go for, because that's strategy.
Right. So as a child, I was nicknamed Rasputin. And one of the reasons was I learned to read at a very early age. And so anytime there was a bunch of kids in a room, one of the parents would just hand me a book and be like, read to them. And well, I like reading, so, it wasn't that big of a stroke. Fast forward that a couple of years, and I developed this way of talking that seems to just, you know what I mean? This thing that I'm doing here, same thing. It's exactly the same thing, but I didn't know I was doing it then. They come into one of the daycare places, the babysitter places that they had kept me for a day. And when they walk in, the whole place is dead silent. And parents have been coming to pick up their kids for the past 30 minutes. And my mom shows up, and instead of actually getting me, because I didn't notice her at the time, she calls my dad. My dad comes up there and is just standing there watching me read to the kids. And on the way home, there were 20 kids in there that were all just sitting there staring at me reading. I'm like 7 or 8, maybe. It was like a Tom, Dick, or Jane stack of books. Nothing amazing, But the fact that they were all sitting there half asleep, paying attention to me for no good reason. On the way home, my mom turns around in the seat, looks at me and says, she says my name, but Sasquatch, I need you to make me a promise. So what's that? Never start a cult. What's a cult? I'll tell you later, but just promise me you'll never start a cult. And you can ask him. There was this big thing that happened in my brain after I got about 2,000 subscribers, and I had to ask myself, is YouTube a cult of personality?
But it kind of is, though, if you think about it.
It is, but am I
People are
starting a cult?
No, because you're not telling people to go one way or another or whatever. You're presenting information to them, and however they decide is however they decide, I guess. I hope.
That's the way I came down on it.
Listen, are you offering me Kool-Aid?
No, I don't.
Okay, then we're good.
It might be some rum. We could do rum.
You're not going to be the next David Koresh, brother.
No. First of all, they'd never cut me down like that. I wouldn't put myself in that position. That man was an idiot. When he realized the ATF were onto his ass, he should have uprooted and went somewhere else. The whole thing over. Instead, they were taking pictures on a pile of his corpses. So that's not cool. Not a fan. Yeah, no, I have no interest in a cult at all. A personality or otherwise. I mean, I don't mind entertaining. I cannot for the life of me write a script.
Well, that I can do. That I can do.
Write it, but I can't stick to it. It will not happen. The very second I go live.
Well, there's a natural flow of things, but if you're pre-recording, right, you can stick generally to the script, but you're going to have some natural word flow coming in. But if you're going live, this is why, for instance, when I do interviews, I typically send them a pre-interview of like the general questions I'm going to ask, but I always warn them. I always say, listen, this is the direction we're going, because I don't want them to feel like there's any surprises, right? I want them to know the direction of the interview that we're going in. But I always tell them, I say, my curiosity will lead the conversation. So please don't predict these questions. I want you to feel comfortable knowing the direction I'm going. So you're not like, oh my God, are they going to like talk about this one thing I said? Or like, no, I'm not going to go there. I don't want them to be nervous. Yeah, I don't want them to be nervous. But I always give that caveat of try not to anticipate the questions. I will ask them. It may not be in order, but also you have to recognize my curiosity is going to lead how this conversation goes. So, you know, I think there's a natural flow of things.
Yeah. I found out through basically trial and error that I am much better on the fly if I don't overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Cool is one of those people who is an expert at forcing you to overthink something and say something stupid, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
If you're willing to sit there and boggle out to the bottom of the conversation with him, he will eventually corner you in some corner that you've never thought about before. I love Joe Cool. Don't misunderstand me. That's my
I'm not.
Like, we cuddle. That's my baby daddy. Like, he probably got a dozen of my kids.
Lord.
A lot of people think we don't like each other because when we end up on panel, we almost always end up taking opposite sides of a particular topic. You know, just because I like playing devil's advocate as much as he does. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Before the
his mind
microwave.
won't stop either. He's definitely a cool individual, to say the least.
He has some really weird, wide flung interests. Like, me and him did a After Dark one night where we went over all of the recent, like, past 25 years of giant bird sightings.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbird sightings. that man was up to date on all but like the last two, and I was like, oh man, there's 2 new ones. He's like, really? And we went and dug down into that, and I mean, he's got some really excellent stories. Not all of them are about cops. You know, he's a well-bred individual, or a well-experienced worldly individual, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I like it.
Yeah.
I have something weird going on with my YouTube right now. It says that my last creation was an hour ago, but it also says that that was when I was on 007's channel this morning. That was like 12 hours ago, 14. And this is weird.
I got nothing.
No idea, man. I've never seen this before. I'm gonna have to
YouTube's
make
been
it.
doing some weird stuff, anyways, man.
It's an election year.
It most
Well,
certainly is.
they've been shadow banning like my channel on a lot of things, dude. Like I ain't getting like half the views that I used to get, and then I figured it was because of the shadow ban. I figured it was because of elections or whatever. And
They changed a few things. For one thing, they're going real hard on people showing guns, handling guns, firing guns, any of that stuff. It's just standard YouTube fuckery. He's right. Anything associated with firearms, explosives, or anything explosive like even I was talking to
I have a question.
What's up?
What I know about like the firearms, but what about like knives and like tomahawks and stuff?
I haven't seen any change in the cutlery channels that I've been watching. What's up, Conquistador? Are you familiar with Conquistador? I figured you'd like that. You know how long it took me to be able to say his name without laughing? Thank you, Conquistador. That was well worth the entrance.
Yeah.
Dude, you should have seen her the first time I came up on her panel, and I was about half lit. She was over. She got to a point where she was like just holding one side, just kept saying, "Stop, just stop, just stop."
It's, to say the least, it's a smart name to come up with something.
I
like that.
really dig it. Hey, he pretty much gets the standing participation trophy of any stream he shows up in, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
dude, that's just straight up creative. I don't care what anybody says. That's a creative name right there.
Yeah,
that's what we call beating around the bush, but sticking to the point. To say the least. To say the very least.
Very good, sir. Very good, sir. This is truth be told audits over here. This motherfucker won the internet tonight. Look at him. That's him. He's winning the internet right now. He just did it. Congratulations, sir. That was very well played.
Anytime. I try to be creative, but that name, it beat everything that I did for the last year, I think.
I don't know, man. I've seen a few really good ones. Like, have you met Nick yet? You know, Mr. Gurr.
Oh yeah.
Don't say it out loud, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I won't.
He's all over the place. Like, he's everywhere. And what's funny is I've seen him come in and go hard trolling, and I've seen him show up in other chats and just be some regular dude waiting patiently for somebody to say his name out loud and get their channel smoked.
Man, I wish I could have caught your trolling channels before you started the channel that you're on now.
Oh yeah, Sarah. I was.
I know you told me already. Okay. We had a heart. You were probably drunk, but we had a heart to heart.
It wasn't you, if that helps.
No, you weren't trolling me.
No, no. In fact, I generally didn't troll women at all.
No,
Is-
there would be no reason to troll me. Like, I mean,
What's up, Fun with Dirt? Past, welcome back. Man, there's some good ones out. There's some good names. Now, one of the things that I did is I had a whole bunch of different profiles, and the way I would do it is I would name the profiles based off of like the type of personality that it's supposed to be. So, one of my favorites was Intrusive Thoughts.
mhm.
And
What was the name of your channel? What was the name of it when you had it?
my primary channel that I was actually me under was Great Sky Troll Anti Drama.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you saying that one. Yeah.
For a little while, my icon was a little goblin with a helmet on that had a helicopter twirl on top. It was flying over mountains. Had a handle and a little motor on it. Well, actually, we're about 5 minutes from ending this one, Conquistador. It's hard to say. You say it. See if you can say it without laughing.
Conquistador.
Well, now I've got my spank bank full. I guess I could just end it now.
Conquistador.
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 Good girl.
Conquistador.
Excellent. We should get together and do some reading. We should.
You say it better if you say it backwards. It's he adores queefs, basically.
What would you like me to read, Caucasian?
What? No, I'm
That's
saying we should. I don't know. I was kind of thinking about maybe some H.P. Lovecraft or I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
The Cthulhu mythos.
Uh,
Cthulhu?
Say that.
Hold on, Conquistador. I'm gonna turn everybody's Alexas on here in just a sec. No, I'm gonna turn everybody's Siri's on. Ready? Hey Siri. And she says, "Oh, there she is. Look, she goes.
It backfired.
Alexa, timer set for 9 minutes and 31 seconds. Please wait while implosion occurs. Please do not interrupt the implosion. Please shut the fuck up. Thank you. Have a good
Right?
day."
I once did a message for somebody. They were like, "Hey, dude, I want you to have a message on my phone." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I just read this." And what he wanted me to say was, "I'm the Undertaker. I'm man." He had a whole eulogy written out, and when you called him and he didn't answer, this is what you got: is this gentleman has died. You may
Damn.
I feel like I should just like do a whole stream where I just read comments as if I was Siri. Like
No, that's
like-
actually yeah.
like Conquistador says, Sarah
You can-
sounded like Alexa for a second. LOL. Conquistador said, LOL. Conquistador said, that was good. LOL.
Harder,
Past said,
harder. I need more. Give it to me. Give it to
I'm
me.
also good at the flight attendant. Okay, now, bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Okay, now, bye-bye. Bye-bye
Okay.
now.
I can't stand it.
I would love to take her through a fucking drive-through and her fucking talk to the people in the fucking store like that. Woo!
Yes, I'd like to order 3 large orders of cheeseburgers with fries and a large Diet Coke, please. I'd
Well, they
also
can
like
make
a
it
hot
for-
fudge sundae.
Oh, shit. Oh, I couldn't control
As long as-
myself.
As long, dude,
I
anytime,
couldn't. I'd be in the passenger seat fucking pissing myself. God damn.
you remember
I love it.
2001: A Space Odyssey?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do that date. You know that whole thing. So I'm in a Walmart in North Georgia, and you remember I told you I got banned from a particular Walmart in North Georgia because we had an airsoft fight inside. It wasn't just
Man, why would you record that shit?
dude, no, dude, we were like, this is pre-airsoft days. This is back when you used to get the little spring-loaded a pew pew with the yellow BBs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
What you talking about?
And then, so they had just moved in a whole pallet of these freaking things that were it was like one of them big bulk boxes where it's like you can get anything out of there you want for $3. So they came in with the floor lift doohickey to move it. And when they moved it, they went too close to one of the shelves and it cut the side of the box open. And these things went fucking everywhere. They just poured out of that. And there's like 8 or 9 of us wandering around, and the guy who was moving it just slings the handle up, goes fuck that, and walks away. And I was like standing there. These things slid up to me, and there's a guy over here. He's about 40. And there's another dude that works here over there, and there's a kid behind me. And I looked down at him, and the dude that worked there reached over and picked his up, and I picked one up, and this guy picked one up. And it turned into a Mexican standoff in 3 seconds flat. We immediately started shooting each other. And then everyone else that was in the store was like, oh, shit, they're armed. They come running over to get the freaking, to get their guns, their pew-pews. And next thing you know, we're hiding in the freaking, they took pictures of me and the guy I was with and a couple other people banned for life.
You're on surveillance camera at that point.
Dude, I really wish I could find it. I've actually looked around a little bit and tried to see, but there's no way to access any of Walmart's private cams and stuff. They keep all that.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna let you. They're not gonna let you near it.
I could even give them like a ballpark date, but you know, I don't know that it went down. All of this, it was like exactly the good, the bad, the ugly theme, exactly. And I mean, like everybody left that place with yellow BBs all down their pants. And then I got escorted out by a security guard from the bank that was in the strip mall a little further down. Like they came in and got me. What was hilarious was when the cops showed up, they walked in and there are grown men laying down with orange freaking guns pointed like pop, 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 pop. Just the freaking store manager was involved. It was ridiculous. And he walks in and he looks around, and one of the days I did the snack thing right next to the door, trying to get a shot at the manager who was in the middle. Anyway, I'm sitting there and I reach my gun out from behind it, and the cop reaches over and grabs my gun and goes, "Son, I think the game's over." I was like, oh. I just went and I should have just left. Now I would have just walked out of there, and they'd have had to call me at my house later. But I was waiting for my buddy to come out of the back, and we wasn't supposed to be up there exactly. And I stuck around. And so they took pictures of me, you know, just like mug shots. They hung them up in the little thing where all the missing people are. They made me stand there and watch it while they did it. Me, did Troy, did a couple of the people that were in there. We all stood around and stared at each other like idiots because we are morons.
Straight in your team.
Right, the fucking fun police. Hey, Erie Frog, welcome in, bud. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to tell you. They took down all my information. They called my parents. My parents had to come up there and pick us up. We were on vacation, and so like my dad, all right, he's a real stern guy. He's like, all right, truck. We get in the truck. He looks over at me and goes, "What the hell was that?" My buddy in the passenger seat goes, "Oh, it's okay, Mr. Robert. He didn't get shot or anything. I think he was the only one that didn't." Well, that's good, son. Should have had more of you and Nam.
Not afraid to pull that trigger.
Well, see, the thing is like when the shooting started, I immediately skedaddled my happy ass out of line of fire, right? I was like, screw all that mess. We ain't having that. We're not playing that game.
Yeah, plenty of aisles to hide behind shit, especially at a Walmart.
Right? And nobody else knew that the game was on until after I run by. So I was speed softed before speed soft was a thing. I just struck out. just slide into the damn snack thing and waited patiently for people to walk by in front of me. I sniper nested them. And when I stuck, I knew I'd fucked up because I remembered I was trying to get an angle on the manager. I don't know who's a manager. He was dressed in a suit. I assumed he was a manager, right? And I was trying to like ease up just a little bit so I could get around the edge of the shelf he was hiding behind because I could see like part of his hand, and I wanted to shoot his hand. And I'm like easing forward, and then that hand came down on it. It was like, I think the game's over, son. Yes, sir.
That was the FBI.
ATF. I got something for that. Hold up.
Yeah. That was that same video you sent me on my regular when I was shooting that gun. Woo.
Dude. Yeah, that's exactly that's right. That's why I clipped it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
perfect. That was like perfect.
It's
perfect.
But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces?
My guns.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
Wow.
Bang! Well, I don't see so good, so I missed. Then they ran away. I ran after them.
Okay.
Bang! Try to shoot them in the back. But I don't want so good either. Anyway, you guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility. I don't think one would have done it. I'm going to go out and buy some more.
Okay.
And I think you should too. Don't be a victim. It's time to fight back.
Yeah, she was checking those guns out. She was looking right at him like, holy crap, what the hell is going on?
Dude, did you see how fast he drove?
Yeah. He got them short, stubby arms, dude. It don't take long.
Dude, did you see what kind of guns he had there?
It was a revolver and a semi. I saw that.
It's a revolver and a high-power Colt.
Yeah.
It was one of those old school. That is a collector's item that man had in his right hand. That's
her facial expression was everything in that video. Her like what?
He tosses them down on the desk. He's like, "Proud."
I bet you the cameraman that was behind the camera already hit the ground.
No way. I have been all right. Hold on. I'm fixing to end all this. We've got a thing that's gonna happen, and I'll be back to talk to y'all in a minute. Actually, I got 2 things I want to do. One's pretty quick. 3 things.
I gotta bounce. Thanks a lot for proving just how ugly and immature you are. It's been real. And just so you know, I don't really care about your problems.
That's for anybody who wondered. And this is for all you people who are, educated and smart.
This guy is Teflon. He is like who in the world could I say nearly 100 felony criminal charges have been leveled against the former president? And he is still like rallying and campaigning. I feel like he like eats his shit and it just like makes him tanner and younger and stronger. I feel like he eats it with like a golden spoon that's like emblazoned with the Mar-a-Lago emblem, and he's just like, give me more charges. It's like amazing. You better not cut that and make that a video.
My bad.
Oops.
I mean, and I did this one a little while ago because I think it's funny.
They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap.
All right, so this is the outro. Anybody want to say bye? Tough.
3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
On my own, here we go.
If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
The communists declared that the real differences among our people constituted the weakest and most vulnerable point in our social fabric.
It's MAGA country.
This is no hoax, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you to run for your lives while you can. We're not making this up just so we can take over the world.
The old dinosaur media isn't dying, it's dead. We are the new media. This is our world now. Lay down and die.
Peace was never an option. So if we don't step up and win this culture war, then who the fuck will?
Let's wake the fuck up! We're gonna get naked.
No. I'm locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
That's what you've been waiting for. Be the one we need.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Global industrial complex.
Yep.
Uniparty.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The point is to destroy Western civilization from within using Maoist technique. So therefore you have to vote for me.
I don't know. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Woke is Marxism, evolved to attack the West.
Stop giving up.
It's only just begun. Now!
Do it! Yes, you can! I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. Just do it!
Are people bitching about that?
Some people.
Of course they are. Oh, fucking A. All right, got it. Yeah, too fucking bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Far left conspiracies, to be honest with you.
Ain't no single entity going to swoop in and save the day. You are going to be continuously let down if you place all of your hope into one individual. Instead, look inside and look around. We're doing this together.
We all are fighting for the same thing, and we all see the same problem.
It's time to stop being an NPC, get off your ass, and join the meme war.
Shame! Shame!
No, I don't like you.
Shame!
If we were in the wild, I would attack you.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm fucking sick of it. I will not do it again.
Thank you. I wonder how many people feel exactly the same way.
Be the beating drum at the head of the growing creative cavalry charge. Be vocal and profound in your passion for projects you enjoy.
No more excuses.
I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you.
A new world order.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Hey, wait a minute.
You control population, you destroy the family, and then you you sow division.
You don't need a destination when you're running on an omnidirectional treadmill.
Are we ready for a new world order?
You'll never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win.
Pray that he is watching.
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you.
On my own, here we go. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I'm gonna, that's all, folks.